What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to show you how to replace the handlebar grips on your handlebars for your bike. This is going to be on a 2008 Yamaha WR250, so this should apply for any WR250, basically any bike. These will be the same steps. So if you don't have hand guards, if you have full bark busters like me, you're going to have to go ahead and remove the bolt on the end. In this case for me, it's a 5mm Allen. And my bolt is about a mile long, so I'm going to use a impact. And just kind of shove it down out of the way for now. Now if your grips are as worn out as mine, you'll be able to just peel it right back basically, or twist and pull. Two hands would help with this, but I have no cameraman today. Voila. So now we'll repeat the same on the other side. Now as you can see, my grips are pretty whooped, so I don't need any help pulling these off. They come off real easy, but if you do need to cut them off, use a razor blade. And make sure to always cut away from yourself. Never towards. Trust me. Ask me how I know. Then you can kind of just get your finger in here. You can either cut it the rest of the way or just kind of stretch it out and peel it back. This is our throttle. Out with the old. Now you'll want to kind of remove any crud left over from the old grips. Maybe use some rubbing alcohol and a rag. Anything that'll strip sticky stuff, brake clean, something like that. Just get as much of the sticky junk off as you can so it's easier to get the new grips on. So here's my new grips. Can't remember exactly what brand they are. I think they're Pro Taper. Sorry, Pro Grip. I'll post a couple links in the description for like these and a couple other popular ones if you want to choose to buy those. You'll notice one of them, the one on the right here, has a smaller hole. And if you'll notice, the handlebar is skinnier on the one end that doesn't have the throttle. So the throttle's fatter. So the one with the bigger hole goes on the throttle. Now there's a few different ways that you can go ahead and put these on. You can try to just push them on dry, which is what I'm going to try to do. Another popular way to do it would be to use, I've seen people use hairspray because it acts as kind of a lube to shove it on, makes it easier to get it on, and then over time it kind of dries out and becomes sticky and it kind of glues it on for you. The only con to that is when it's really, really hot out, it kind of melts again and the grip will rotate a little bit on the bar. So that's why I'm going to try to do it without any sort of handlebar grip. I'm sure they make special compound for this as well, which I'll post in the video description if you want to purchase that and do it right. I'm going to try to put this on dry, see what happens. Now this grip is non-directional. I don't care which way it faces, but if it was to say something on here, you'd want to make sure it's facing the right direction, like up or forward or back, before you start pushing this on. Okay, so before I started filming, I was able to get the grip on about 3/4 of the way without too much struggle, so I thought I'd be able to get it all the way on, but now for some reason I could only get it on halfway before it bound up. So I pulled it back off, I went inside and I just got some soapy water and kind of worked it into my hands, and I'm just going to put a little bit on here. I'm not going to get too carried away with it because I'm hoping that this will eventually kind of, dry out. I want it to be just enough to lube up the handlebar, but I don't want it to be excessive amounts of soap and water so that the grip never sets up. Now one more thing to note before putting the grip on, like my new grips are longer than the old ones were, so you're gonna have to loosen your controls here, as well as your mirror and clutch lever. Mine is all factory still, so it's 4mm Allen, 2 screws to remove the mirror. And then on the bottom side of the electrical controls here, there's 2 Phillips screws. Just loosen those a little bit and you should be able to move everything around nice and slide it over so your new grips can fit. All right, enough rambling, here we go. Everything's moved over, all the controls are out of the way. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put the bark buster back on so I can see how to line up my clutch lever and mirror and all this jazz. Oh no, I need 3 hands. Mint. All right, so we have the new grip on here. Tighten up the controls, tighten up the mirrors, the clutch lever, everything there. So we're gonna move over to the other side. It's gonna be the same situation. We've got 2 Phillips head screws to loosen up for the throttle. So we can slide that over if we need to. We've got 2 Phillips screws, one here and one kind of hidden here under the brake lever. That's going to loosen up your electrical controls here, kill switch. And then for the mirror on this side, we have 2 10mm bolts we got to loosen up. All right, everything's loosened up and I've given the throttle side the same soap and water treatment as on the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and see how this goes. All right, so just a heads up, the plastic, for some reason, seems to absorb or dry out the water and soap way faster, so you have to use more. I was only able to get it on just this tiny amount before it got stuck already, so we're gonna have to go back at it with a little bit more soap and water. Let's try this again. Definitely tougher than the other side. But if you keep twisting and pushing, you'll get it. Now, upon closer inspection, I found that there's actually 2 holes in the handlebars, the factory handlebars, and there's little alignment pins in the throttle and one in the electrical control piece. So you can't really slide them in any further because they have to be in there. So if this grip is too long, you're gonna probably have to shave a little bit of it off with a razor blade if you have a bark buster. Mine, I had to cram it on there, so it's a little compressed right now, and it's not wanting to return the throttle very well because it's pushing too hard on this. So I'm gonna have to trim it a little bit. All right, as you can see, I've pulled it back off probably, I don't know, a ½ inch. And you can see there's a small gap between the grip and the throttle cable, and now it releases without binding up. So I think I'm gonna cut it right here on this line, but you'll have to kind of judge what's best for your particular grip. There we go. Just cut it off so it's flush with the end of the handlebar. That way it won't rub on the bark buster if you have one. So I'm gonna go ahead and bolt that back up now. Okay, the grip is on, it's trimmed, it moves freely for the most part. There's a little bit of binding there. I'm sure it'll wear in. We got the bark buster back on tight. Got the throttle cable, or the throttle, sorry, tightened back up with those 2 Phillips screws. Now we're gonna go ahead and reinstall the kill switch with those 2 Phillips screws. And now both grips are on. All the electrical controls are tightened back up. The mirrors and brake and clutch levers are angled how I want them. Those are all tightened up. Bark busters are all tightened up. Everything is how it was. We have much better grips now. Throttle releases as it should. And that's it. If this video helped you out, make sure you hit that like button. For more videos like this, make sure to hit subscribe and check me out on Facebook at Tony the Truck Guy. Thanks for watching.